Hey, what's up, Chicago Selector? I am back at it again. Today we're going to be talking about the fight that just happened between Adrien Broner and Jovanie Santiago. My take on the fight, honestly, it wasn't a good fight. Overall, for Adrien Broner, his performance was not impressive. Congratulations for the win, but that wasn't much of a win right there, what I saw over there. Let's get to the tail of the tape. Adrien Broner versus Jovanie Santiago, first round. Broner comes in there. Both guys are filling each other out. So it was a feel-out round, to say the least. That's all it was. It was a feel-out round. Second round comes. Jovanie Santiago wins the second round. Just Adrien Broner's not throwing enough punches. Including, I'll give Jovanie Santiago the first round as well. So he won the first and the second. Third round goes. Jovanie Santiago's winning that. Adrien Broner does what he always does, like he did versus Pacquiao, like he does versus a lot of other fighters. He doesn't throw enough punches. He just does not. He doesn't. His work rate isn't there. Early in the fights, he doesn't throw enough punches. I seen that with Sean Porter. I seen that with what's his name over here, Garcia. I seen that with Manny Pacquiao. Like I've seen it where he just doesn't throw enough punches. He comes into a fight and he's not as active. He's not as engaging as he should be early in the fights. Because the early you can get this build of momentum, the better off it is. You got it. You can't like this is pathetic. The fourth round comes, he loses again. It was the fifth round. Jovanie Santiago and him are exchanging, and then he's starting to get his little mojo. You can see him starting to pick it up, and then then Jovanie Santiago hits him after the bell, gets a point deducted. So that's a gift for Adrien Broner. It could have been the fifth or sixth round if I'm not mistaken. Sixth round comes in, Adrien Broner comes in there. Adrien Broner starts to have a little bit of a sense of urgency, but still loses that. I had him losing that round too. He was working, he was fighting, but he just wasn't. Jovanie Santiago was more of a busier fighter. He was giving him more body shots and whatnot. He was just more of the busier fighter when it was all said and done in that round. So that's why I gave him that round. Adrien Broner comes in with the seventh round. Now this is where it changes. Adrien Broner comes into the seventh round, and Adrien Broner starts to engage. He starts to throw more punches. He wins the seventh round. He wins the seventh round. He just outworks him, gets busy, does what he does. Adrien Broner starting to cook. Very similar to the Jesse Vargas fight, where he's not really engaging early, but then the mid rounds, he starts to starts to get his mojo in. Eighth round comes. Adrien Broner's just starting to get it. Like I said, the mojo's there. The pot is boiling. He's throwing. He's engaging. He wins the round. He wins the eighth round. He just starts to win it. Ninth round comes. Adrien Broner starts to show. Okay, Adrien Broner's like, okay, I'm really here to win. I started slow, but I'm here to win this fight, which is good. Which is really good. 10th round comes. 10th round was interesting. Adrien Broner comes in there. Honestly, he's engaging. They're both engaging. Both have high work. They're both having a higher punch rate. They're both throwing blows. They're both engaging. But I have to go with Santiago. I think Santiago just edged him off in that 10th round. 11th round comes. Adrien Broner's engaging with him. Santiago, personally, I think Santiago won that round as well. And then the 12th round came, and Santiago just he cooked him. He cooked him in the 12th round. And then out of nowhere, Adrien Broner's a house fighter. Always remember, in boxing, whenever you're dealing with a house fighter, Showtime, Adrien Broner's, they have plans for Adrien Broner. Showtime comes, the refs give Adrien Broner the win. I don't know how. Listen, this is no hate on Adrien Broner. I like Adrien Broner. I think early in his career he was electrifying. I thought he was good for the sport. You know, he keeps selling tickets. He was hilarious. He was funny. He was. You know, he was just entertaining to say the least. You know, he's a breath. He's what the boxing world needed. He was funny as hell. You know, but at the same time though, like, dude, you got like, you can't. He's honestly he looks washed, man. Like Adrien Broner looks like a shot fighter. He looks like a shot fighter. He looks like he's 31 years old. He's you can see he's not aging well in boxing. He's not his boxing skills have not matured. I think him and Canelo may not. They might be. I think he's a year older than Canelo Alvarez. You know, it's just not aging well in boxing, bro. Adrien Broner, he's just not like he's just. You know, like listen, the guy got the victory, and it was just like, you know, a lot of people was, oh, the announcers are hating on Broner. I'm like, listen, Adrien Broner, you know, dude, he didn't do enough. People want to see you win, Adrien, but you won. I get it, but like, it was a gift decision. You're the house fighter. You know, Showtime's obviously this wasn't even the fighter you were supposed to fight. Allegedly, the guy you were supposed to fight got the virus or whatever. So this guy had to step in allegedly or supposedly. I don't know. This is just not really a great performance from Adrien Broner, to say the least. Personally, I think Adrien Broner was given a gift decision. He hadn't won a fight in I don't know how long, because he had a long layoff. After that Manny Pacquiao fight, nobody's seen Adrien Broner. I think that Manny Pacquiao fight might have happened in 2019 of January. So he hadn't been seen since, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it February or something? If I'm not mistaken, he's been gone for a while. So now he's back in. He comes in. He fights this guy nobody's even heard of. This is a guy who was off fighting for 5 years. Did a really good job. I personally thought he won the fight. I didn't think Adrien Broner won that fight. And I like Adrien Broner, but that was not a win for him, at least to say the least. He didn't win that. What's next for Adrien Broner? I don't know. What is he going to do? He's going to fight what? Who's he going to fight? Devin Haney? Who's he going to fight? Like who? The fight was at 140. They ended up making it a catch weight. It looks like Adrien Broner couldn't make weight because he came in at 146. The other guy came in at 144 or 145. Sorry. So what does that tell you right there? Adrien Broner couldn't even make weight. He could not make weight. You came into the fight and you couldn't make weight. So they made it at a catch weight. Oh, man, this guy, bro. Adrien Broner, bro, let me tell you something. This guy is just like, bro, I don't know what's next for this guy, honestly. Personally, I think he's a shot fighter. I think he's done. I think, honestly, from that performance right there, where can you go? Because you can't beat anyone at 147. You cannot beat the likes of Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter, Errol Spence, Keith Thurman. You can't beat those guys. So 140, you can't even make 140. Who are you going to fight? Who are you going to fight if you can't make 140? You're going to fight Devin Haney? You can't fight Devin Haney if you can't make 140. He's at 135. He's going to go up to 140. Who are you going to fight? You know? Who? None of those guys that won. I don't know, man. Adrien Broner is a great fighter. He was a great fighter. I think Adrien Broner can definitely still, you know, have interest, you know, people talking. You know, I understand the whole situation with the world, the pandemic around the world. So it's kind of like a lot of people aren't really, you know, a lot of people didn't even know he was fighting. They didn't know. It's not really promoted. It's kind of, he's been quiet, you know. The whole thing, he's in a bubble right now, right? So he's fighting in a little bubble with a whole bunch of other fighters. So not selling no tickets, none of that stuff until this thing ends. It is what it is. But congratulations to Adrien Broner for that victory. I don't think he won that fight, but he didn't win that fight. I'm not going to sit on here and pretend like he won that fight. He was an excellent fight. It was, to me personally, it was a little bit of an embarrassment to watch Adrien Broner like that. And I don't know. like you're a veteran fighter. You should have a sense of urgency. You know what I mean? You should be able to knock this guy out, or at least beat him very, very, very strategically, and just get that victory. But he couldn't even do that. So what does that tell you? Couldn't do that. Anyways, yo, listen. There was also another fight I just want to touch up about that happened. Otto Wallin fought Dominic Brazil. It was a good fight. I think Dominic Brazil, he got cooked. He got cooked by Otto Wallin. Otto Wallin, for those who don't know, is the same guy who fought Tyson Fury and gave Tyson Fury. Some people even may argue Otto Wallin might have upset it and beat Tyson Fury because he busted Tyson Fury. He had Tyson Fury leaking. And Tyson Fury never. I don't think Tyson Fury his wildest dreams thought he was going to be in a fight with Otto Wallin and it was going to look that competitive. But Otto Wallin gave him that work. He ended up losing to Tyson Fury. Otto Wallin beat Dominic Brazil. Deontay Wilder lost to Tyson Fury. But Deontay Wilder did beat Dominic Brazil. Now it's potential for Otto Wallin and Deontay Wilder to fight. Would I like to see that fight? Yes. I think that's a great fight. I don't know what's happening with Fury and Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. But I think Otto Wallin would be a great, reputable opponent for Deontay Wilder. If the two gentlemen fight, if they can make it happen, if Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder are not able to make that one happen, I think that'll be a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it can happen. I really do genuinely hope it can happen. This would be a fight that a lot of people would appreciate, a lot of people will enjoy, a lot of people will watch. So we'll see what transpires next. We'll see. It was a good win for Otto Wallin. He was able to beat Dominic Brazil. What's next for Dominic Brazil? I think maybe Dominic Brazil needs to retire. I think he should call it a career. He's made a lot of money. He's done very well for himself in the sport of boxing. But at this point, it's just like, bro, you don't want to be a gatekeeper and start getting too much of a beating, and then you start talking like a punch-drunk fighter, or you start, CTE, or, you start stirring and all that kind of stuff, like, talking like, with your face looking like, you know what I mean? We don't want none of that, right? So just call it a career, man. Just call it a career. Wrap it up. You did great in the sport of boxing. You're appreciated. People are always going to remember who you are. Maybe you could train fighters or enjoy your family and stuff like that. But who am I to say? I can't tell a guy when to retire, right? A guy, only the man is going to know when it's the right for him, right? Maybe he still has something to prove, You see what I'm saying? Some people are telling Adrien Broner to retire. Adrien Broner, in his eyes, might think he has something to prove still. He's been through a lot. He's been through a lot. A lot self-inflicted, but he's still out here still out here performing and actually out here competing and having us watch it. So, congratulations to Adrien Broner. I hope you watch this film. We take a lot from it. People saying people are hating on Adrien Broner. No, it's just constructive criticism. In the sport of boxing, we need to critique fighters. We need to make sure that, we are not here being fanboys, but actually just critiquing the art of the fight and critiquing how these guys, their skills match up and what they're doing out there. And that's it, But I'm going to be out of here. I'm signing out. All right. Also, too, I'm going to be doing more Raptor streams. I'm going to be doing more boxing streams. So check out some of the streams that I have coming. I know Canelo Alvarez is going to be fighting soon. I know there's going to be a whole bunch of fights. I'm going to be trying to do as many fights as I can, starting from going into this year. So as many fights as I can, and just going to keep knocking them down. So definitely subscribe to my channel. If you guys interested in doing some work with me, I'm going to shoot out an email at the bottom of the description. You can definitely hit me up. We can work together. We can do some stuff with boxing. If you're interested, listen, I'm down for whatever, bro. Any guys want to work, let's do this. You see what I'm saying? Like I said before, congratulations to Adrien Broner for the victory, the gift decision. And yeah, I'm signing out. All right. Peace.